Hello, and welcome to the Podcast, episode 32, where today I'm going to be reviewing podcasting bundles. So, for this episode, you may notice that audio quality isn't as good as usual, and that's because I'm currently using a $35 setup from Amazon. That is right, I have gone out on Amazon and I purchased the cheapest podcasting equipment bundle that money can buy on Amazon. It was $35 with a coupon. For at standard, it's $40, and it is about as good as you can expect. I'm not really sure. So let me kind of go over some of the basics here. With it comes obviously a microphone, an XLR to 3.5mm jack, which is really interesting. Two pop screens. One slides onto the microphone like a sock. The other one is an external, just kind of like visor screen. It comes with a shock mount, and it also comes with a boom that I actually really like. It also comes with what they call a sound card. It's effectively an audio interface, but they call it a sound card. So just for the sake of it, I'll call it an audio interface. But just know that if they find out that I'm calling it an audio interface, they will execute me. So just shh, don't tell anyone. So the audio interface has, let's see, it has 7 knobs. It has one for the gain. As you can see, I am adjusting that right now. And it also has one for echo, so I can sort of make it sound like I'm in a cave. I'm recording in a cave right now. But for the sake of your ears, I'm going to not be using that. The other 5 knobs are for treble, bass. One is for record, backing track, and monitor. So you can change the volume of your monitoring audio, which I actually really like. I really like the fact that the monitor has its own separate knob, because with the Focusrite monitor, the monitoring knob also controls the volume of everything else that comes through your headphones, which I just really don't favor. So that's the one thing that I actually really do like on this audio interface. Now, it also has a bunch of buttons on it. 6 of which are red and the rest of them are black. We have reverb delay, which I don't really know what does, because when you press it, you hear this. Oh, does that not? Oh, you can't hear it. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me put the headphones right up to it so you can hear it. All right, let's see. I'm not really sure how this will sound, but basically, yeah, if you couldn't hear that, basically it's a lady saying note names. So it's like C major or sharp G major. And how do I turn this off? There we go. Now, the button next to it is voice change.
So you can do entertaining things such as this.
Or this, or this, or this,
Or this.
or this.
And that's all of the voice changes. Once again, for the sake of your ears, I am going to be not using those. It also has elimination, which I assume is noise cancellation, but I'm really not sure. If you look through the user manual, which is about as helpful as you would expect, it doesn't have really anything on elimination, I don't think. It also came with another piece of paper. Let's see. Elimination, here we go. You just need to press You just need to press to eliminate 80% of the original sound, thereby making the music turn into accompaniment. No idea what that means. 80% of what? We also have crack. Oh wait, hold on. That actually makes it sound a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna be keeping that on. MC, which I assume is music creation, and that actually sounds even better than crack, so I'm gonna be keeping that. And then also has voiceover, which I can't really tell a difference in, so we'll just be keeping that on. Now, the rest of the buttons, the rest of the 12 black buttons, are all sound effects, which is really interesting. One is cheer. I won't be going over all of them. Din. It's a crow. The most interesting one out of all of them, I think, is 9277. I have no idea why it's labeled 9277 because it just plays some like fancy jazz music. So that's different. But just for the time being, let's just pretend I said something funny and so as you can tell, it's a lot of useful stuff. Now, in terms of ports, it has a total of four, I believe, mini USB A? I honestly don't know what they call these. It's the little hexagonal ones. It's the one that looks like tiny HDMI inputs. I really honestly forget what they call them. But it has a total of four of them. One is for charging. Yes, this thing runs on a capacitor. It has Live 1 and Live 2, and it also has, what does that say? Backing track. It also has two inputs for either earphones or headphones. No, it does not come with either of those, which I really thought was interesting because you do have to use headphones for these to properly work so you can hear yourself with the monitoring. Someone calling me? No. Sorry, it's been a long time since I last did a podcast, and I'm slowly forgetting how to. Anyways, it also has, so this microphone is a condenser microphone, which means if I plug it into my actual audio interface, which at the end of this episode, if I can remember, I will do, and I will use a better XLR cable just to hear what it would sound like. This is a condenser microphone, and once again, it is XLR to 3.5mm jack, which is such an interesting connection. And as soon as I saw that, I realized, yeah, there's no way this can sound correct. And it also has an input for a dynamic microphone, which is a phonojack input. So that's probably the most robust thing on this whole unit. Now, the monitoring itself really sucks. It's not like monitoring. There's some delay to it. It's like the microphone is recording what I'm saying at all times and then just sending what it's hearing. Because it just doesn't sound right. There's delay to it and the audio levels aren't correct. It sounds like I'm listening to a recording. It just sounds like there's two of me instead of just kind of like, it doesn't feel like it feels like I'm wearing headphones, and it shouldn't. When you have monitoring, you really want to just have the feeling of, no, I'm not wearing headphones, I'm just hearing myself talking at a normal level. Because without that, it feels strange. It feels like you're talking to yourself and not just kind of talking to someone else, you know? Something that I do really like, this thing automatically, I didn't have to do anything for it to stereo level out the audio levels between both channels. It did that for me, which I really appreciate. So I'm glad that's a thing. So, I did say earlier that the user manual was about as helpful as you would imagine it to be. So the first thing you may notice when you look at the user manual, if you get one of these, is that it's a picture. It's the front of it is a picture of it, but it's scrunched, like it's slummed, so it looks strange. Okay, usage usage precautions and frequently asked questions. Press the power button for 3 seconds to turn on or turn off the sound card. After turning on the sound card, put on the earphones, short press the power button, and you can start live broadcasting when you hear internal opening in the earphones/headphones. 2. Charge the sound card before use. Low volume or poor sound quality indicates that the sound card power is insufficient. Please don't charge while using the sound card because excuse me, because current will cause interference. Guess what I'm doing right now? Charging it. When using the sound card, all interfaces need to be fully plugged in. If the mobile phone has a case, oh yeah, by the way, this can be used with a mobile phone because it does have Bluetooth. I can only imagine how good that Bluetooth is, though. I don't have it connected to Bluetooth right now. I believe the only reason it's working right now is because I have it charging in my computer, which is weird because you're not supposed to do that, but they still let you do that by making it work while it's charging. So that's strange. It is not recommended to use an internal speaker for computer live broadcasting. If you hear heavy sound or noise when you use an iPhone, please try to turn off the volume. Let's see, where are the questions at? I think they're on the other piece of paper. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Common problem. The sound card doesn't work after the first or several uses. Please charge the sound card first. It is recommended to charge it for more than 4 hours for the first time. All the products have been strictly tested, surprise, and must work. It can be used for about 6 to 8 hours after a full charge. That's actually not that bad. Now, I will say something about this. There are 3 different versions of this when you go to the page on Amazon. There's one that's $52, and then there are 2 that are the exact same price, both $40. The AM100 V8 and the AM200 V8. I went for the AM200 because it has a bigger number. I have no clue what the differences are between the two, other than the AM100 microphone is golden and the AM200 is black. At least that's what it looks like in the picture. And this microphone, lo and behold, being the AM200, is fully black, whereas the other one is black and gold. So I don't know if that means that maybe the other one is a dynamic microphone and this one is a condenser microphone, or if it's something else. I am completely in the weeds about that. Now, on the subject of the microphone, it's very hollow. And I don't mean that like it sounds hollow. I mean that like, hear that? That's the microphone. There's nothing in there. If I go over to my Shure, and this may be a little hard to hear, but I'll put it up to the microphone. Hear that? That's just solid. There's some space in there. There's a lot of room for activities in there. Now I have listened to the recording a bit in this episode, and the monitoring definitely makes it sound worse than it actually is, which is really strange because it should just sound the same, but it isn't. So I'm wondering if there are some After Effects applied to it, and there definitely is, because I'll tell you, there is noise cancellation going on here, and you can most definitely hear it. In fact, you could just hear it then. So if I like snap over here, you can hear it like it phases in and out of reality. Like, it's noise cancellation does not belong anywhere, and it definitely should not be forced into anything. Noise cancellation is the worst thing in the world. It makes everything just sound terrible. So that's just one of my pet peeves with this thing. So that was interesting. I went to plug in the good XLR cable to the condenser microphone, which I have now. And Audacity didn't appreciate that at all. They didn't like that I changed audio interfaces, and it was just like, no, you cannot do that. And I tried doing research, and it was just like, yeah, so here's the issue. Your sample rate is different than your project rate, and you got to change it. But lo and behold, the sample and project rate were at the same amount of hertz. So I just went ahead and started a different recording, and here we are now. So, I can't hear myself. I have monitoring on right now, and I cannot hear myself at all. Let me see if I can turn... Okay, there's a lot of noise. Okay, so I can hear myself now a little better. And it does sound a lot better, I will say that. And that's really because it's plugged into an actually good XLR cable with an actually good audio interface. It does sound kind of muffled, so I'm just going to go ahead and blame that on the microphone because that's the only difference in setup that I have going on here. So in the end, could you use one of these? Absolutely. In fact, if you're starting out as a podcaster and you want to kind of graduate from whatever you're using, could be your iPad or iPhone or something, I actually would recommend getting one of these because it's just a good starter for if you really just kind of want to graduate from something relatively simplistic. I will say there are probably better alternatives out there. I just went ahead and got the absolute bottom of the barrel one just to see if they were any good at all. Not saying that this one obviously doesn't go for all of them, but I'm just saying how low can you go? How good is it, just in general? And in the end, I'll say it, I'm kind of impressed. I thought that it was going to have a crap ton of noise and the buttons were going to not work and it probably just wasn't going to work at all in the first place. But it seems to all work, and I definitely will be using all of these sound effects to annoy my friends when we're all in a call, and it's just going to be so much fun. And in the end, I recommend. So, with that, I think that is all I have to say. Have a good day, and I just said something so funny.